By now, you should have your perfect audience avatar completely done. If you don't, then stop this video right now and go back and work on it some more. This is really important. Since you're continuing, that means that you're ready to start thinking about marketing. And marketing is all about delivering messages to your perfect target audience effectively. So what are the components of a really good message? Well, the first thing is you've got to know what your audience wants. And that's why you built your avatar. That's why you defined it. That's why you really got into where their heads are at. The second thing is that you've really got to know what the objective of your message is. Do you want to get them to opt in on an email? Do you want to get them to press a button to buy something? Whatever you want them to do, you've got to know what it is ahead of time. And then you've got to know the essential message components. And this is true of any message, no matter where you deliver it. First, you've got to have a hook. You've got to get something that's going to disrupt the patterns they're used to and grab their attention. Then you've got to have a story. This has got to be something that hooks them emotionally and gets them wanting to hear more. Then you've got to have an offer. You've got to tell them what you're offering them in exchange for something they're going to do. And the something they're going to do is the call to action. And finally, you've got to have a way that they can actually implement that call to action. So if you tell them push a button, then there's got to be a button to push. If you tell them call me, then there's got to be a phone number for them to call. So those are the 5 major components of any message. The order you see them here is the order that they appear in the message. But that's not the order that you develop them in. In fact, you develop them in this order. You think about what your offer is first. What are you going to sell? Then you think about the story that backs up that offer. Then you think about what the call to action is going to be. Next, you come up with the hook. And finally, you come up with the action element. And it's important that you practice every single one of those components of every single message that you deliver. Don't just try to shoot from the hip. Make sure you practice and practice and practice some more. The thing of it is, when you practice, it changes the way that you deliver the message, and it makes you much more effective. And it's important to test every single component of every single message. What does that mean? That means that you need to test it against people you know. You need to test it with a small market segment and see what works the best. Okay, and that's the only way you'll ever know what really is going to work well. Test, test, and more test. So now, what is the ideal message? What does it look like? Well, the simple truth is that network marketing companies are great at producing products, and they're great at producing network organizations, but they don't know how to market or sell. And I'm going to prove that to you right now. Here's the Healy message. This is actually on their website. I'm going to read through it with you. Feel healthy all the way with Healy. Well, that's kind of interesting. Isn't it a great feeling to feel strong, active, and healthy? A healthy body and mind means quality of life after all. That's why Healy offers you applications to help you stay fit and bioenergetically regenerate and reduce pain. It is designed to support you in stressful situations during the day, help you recover more easily, and find peace in the evening. Now, Healy actually made a typo in this next sentence. It should say that Healy is meant to help you to increase your vitality, to improve the flow of your energy reserves, and to activate your energy reservoirs. It goes on to say, although Healy is small, light, and inexpensive, it has a lot to offer. It can give you quick bioenergetic support to help balance your mind and body and improve your quality of life. And it can also give you an analysis of your energetic state and help you find ways to improve it. Healy is an ingenious invention that will provide you with support for your holistic health, your body, your well-being, your family, and yet it is easy to use. To give you an overview of what Healy can do for you and to make sure that you only buy what you really need, we have put together the Healy program pages and modules in the form of different editions so you can choose the best one for you. Now, how do you feel after you've heard that? Well, I don't know about you, but for me, it pretty much puts me to sleep. It uses a lot of jargon about bioenergetic support and body balance and things that really only someone who's already into this would be interested in. It doesn't address the general market. I want you to compare that kind of message and the feeling that you get from it to this message, which is more of a sales message. One day, I decided to do some shopping. I walked into the store, but after about 100 steps, I started breathing hard. I had to sit down in the middle of the floor, and the store manager called an ambulance. The doctors told me I had severe lung problems. If I hadn't gone to the hospital that day, I would have been on a respirator and might be dead. After 2 weeks, I finally was home again with oxygen tanks and a special bed we had to rent to elevate my head when I slept. I spent 3 years trying to recover from the damage to the lungs. I did everything the doctors told me to do. I exercised, I changed my diet, and I took a bunch of prescription drugs. I tried one alternative medicine thing after another, but no matter what I did, I could never breathe well enough to walk a couple of blocks. I was ready to die. About 6 months ago, someone told me about a little gizmo that was a little smaller than a 3/8 inch thick credit card that could change my life. I couldn't understand how I could feel better without more doctor visits, prescriptions, pills, and potions. But if it really could work, it was worth any price. So I got one and noticed a difference in 2 days. Now I'm feeling stronger every day. I get up with lots of energy, looking forward to all the things I'm going to do. And when I found out all the other things this miraculous device was capable of, I realized my mission is to help other suffering people just like I was helped. How does that make you feel? Does that make you want to really find out what the little gizmo is? You bet it does. And the reason is that it grabs you in your emotions. The first thing that we looked at from Healy doesn't address your emotions at all. It's all facts and figures and features. But the second one is a story. It tells a real story about a real person that faced a real problem and overcame it. And that's what hooks your emotions. Here's the thing. Techno-Talk doesn't sell. It's really funny because we all like to get into Techno-Talk, and we think that somehow that's impressive. But really, when you talk about things like 144,000 frequencies, and quantum sensors, and the cloud database, and Bluetooth, and phone apps, none of that really sells. That's not what sells the product. What sells the product is the emotional connection. Techno-Talk, all it ever does is really raise more questions. The minute you talk about a quantum sensor, people want to know how that works. What is it? How does it work? Well, you don't know the answer to that. The minute you talk about 144,000 frequencies, people want to know what they are. Guess what? You don't know the answer to that either. So in effectively delivering a message, why raise questions that are going to make people not buy the product instead of buy the product? Let's talk about the flow of any live or recorded presentation. And this works whether you're talking to a person face to face, or you're making a video, or you're talking to them on the phone. Now, this comes from a guy named Russell Brunson, and this guy has made so much money marketing on the internet, you wouldn't believe it. But what he says is the key to any message is if you can get people to believe that your new opportunity is the key to what they desire most, and is only attainable through your specific offer, then all other objections and concerns will be irrelevant, and they will give you money. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. And that's why it's so important to have that definition of an avatar, because then you know what they desire. And what you offer them has got to address their desire and what they desire most. And if you do that and they believe that you're going to get them what they desire most, they're going to give you money. So let's apply that to Healy. If you can get people to believe that microcurrent and resonant frequencies is the key to improved health and wellness, and is only attainable through buying a Healy through me, or through you in this case, then all other objections and concerns will be irrelevant, and they will give you money. Think about that. That's exactly what you've got to do. Now, this is about selling the product. Let's say that again. If you can get people to believe that microcurrent and resonant frequencies is the key to improved health and wellness, and is only attainable through buying a Healy through you, then all other objections and concerns will be irrelevant, and they will give you money. There's going to be another statement like that for the opportunity. We're not going to go into that now because it's really important to sell them the product first. The thing to think about is what made that statement true for you. Let's go back and look at it. What made you believe microcurrent and resonant frequencies is the key to improved health and wellness, and it's only attainable through buying a Healy? What made you believe that? And once you know that, you're going to know what to say to other people. You've got to convey what you believe. You've got to convey what you think. You've got to convey the emotions that were raised in you in order to convince other people and make them believe. And once you've got a message, then you've got to deliver it. Now, how can you deliver it? Well, you can do one-to-one conversations with people. You can do three-way calls with people. You can do small meetings. You can do hotel meetings. You can send emails. You can talk to them on social media. All of those are possibilities, different ways of delivering the message. What we're going to talk now is about how you deliver messages using internet marketing techniques. This is the basic internet model. You have traffic. The traffic then gets into what is called your sales funnel, where they opt in, where you sell them the product, where you follow up after the sale, and where you eventually sell them something else in an upsell. That's basically it. All internet sales works that way. The amazing thing right now is that 75 to 80% of all traffic on the internet is coming by telephones, by smartphones. And that means that has to be uppermost in your mind when it comes to the call to action. Maybe you just have them call you right away. And there are ways on smartphones that you can actually load the number for them to call. They don't have to do a thing other than push a button and bam, they've contacted you. What you want them to do is opt in. And opting in is really important. And it's the secret to your long-term personal success. I'm not talking about just success in selling Healy. I'm talking about success selling everything. Because once you have a list of people that have opted in, whether they come in by telephone, whether they come in by email, however they come in, you'll be able to contact them over and over and over again. And the more that you interact with them, the more they're going to trust you. And the thing about opt-in is that there's two primary ways to opt in. One is by email, and that's been around forever. The only problem with email is that not many people open it. If you get 20% of the people you send an email to open it, you're doing great. Now there's another alternative, and that's opting in by Facebook Messenger. With Facebook Messenger, get ready for this, hold on, 85% of the people open the messages they get. Think about what that means. When you have more messages to deliver, 85% of the people are going to see them as opposed to 10 to 20%. The opportunity for you to deliver the message is far, far greater. And we'll be talking about how to use Facebook Messenger in future videos. When you get into network marketing, then you're really talking about two separate funnels. And we talked about this before. The first one is the product sales funnel, just like we talked about in the last slide. But then in network marketing, part of the follow-up is the member sales funnel. And that means that you want to sign them up as a distributor or member. So we add this new component, the member sales funnel. You sell them on the opportunity and you follow up. Now the key to making all of that work is having traffic. You've got to get people to see what you have on the internet before you can take them into your sales funnels. And how do you get traffic? There's really only 4 ways. One is email lists. One is social networking. One is search engine optimization or SEO. And the 4th is advertising. When it comes to email lists, if you've got an email list, use it. Now that doesn't mean you go out and buy one. That almost never works. But if you already have one, if you've got a list of people that have contacted you in the past, that have even gotten a free ebook from you in the past, that know you, they'll recognize your name, use that email list. What about SEO? The truth is, if you get it, that's great, but don't work for it. It's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work to get really good SEO. And if you're not on page 1, it's worthless. And the problem is that there's always people trying to get on page 1. So one day you may be there and the next day you may not. Or Google may change the way that it determines who is on page 1. This is a non-winning proposition. So, yes, there are things that you can do that will make your site more SEO friendly. But by and large, this is not the way to get traffic. When it comes to social networking, there are a whole bunch of different platforms, like Facebook and YouTube and podcasts and Instagram and the new one, TikTok. There are a lot more. Pinterest, Quora. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Here's the thing about social networking. Social networking requires daily publishing. That means that if you're doing something on Facebook, you need to do it every day. If you're doing Instagram posts, you need to do them every day. If you're doing a podcast, you need to do one every day. And if you can't do it every day, at least every other day. And if you're not regular like that, you won't get results. Now, this is a great long-term strategy. But if you want to see something quick, forget about it. It isn't going to happen. In time, you want an audience. You want an audience that follows you. You want an audience that listens to you. But that doesn't happen overnight. At first, maybe you'll do a podcast, and you do your first podcast and your mom listens to it. And then you do your second podcast and your mom and your brother listens to it. And after a few months, maybe you have 100 people listening to you on a regular basis. Well, eventually that can get into the tens of thousands, but it takes time. And time is of the essence when it comes to network marketing. So, what does that leave? Advertising. Advertising is all about speed to results. So to get the fastest results possible on the internet, you advertise. There are a lot of different ways to advertise on the internet. But the two biggest ones, the two big gorillas in the room, are Google and Facebook. Google has several different advertising platforms, but the two big ones are Google AdWords, which is what you get when you search, and YouTube. Those are the two big ones. And those are the two biggest searching platforms around. Facebook primarily has Facebook, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. So those 5 different advertising platforms are where you can put money and get quick results. But oh my gosh, look at this picture. Does that look complicated or what? Of course it does. And so what you've got to do is narrow down what you're going to do. You can't be good at everything. In time you can, but you can't be good at everything right away. So how are you going to narrow it down? We recommend that you get started by focusing on the items marked in red. So, when it comes to advertising, you advertise on Facebook, and in particular on Facebook and Facebook Messenger. That's going to generate the traffic you need, and then you focus on developing your sales funnels so people will opt in, buy your products, buy more products, and become members. And traffic is all about your audience. So not only do you want to get traffic, but you want to get the right traffic. You want to get your perfect, ideal traffic. And that's why you did your avatar. And once that traffic comes to you, then you've got to perfect your presentation or your message so that they're going to opt in and buy your product. And you remember that the goals of your presentation are, first of all, marketing. That's promising that you're going to deliver what they want. Sales, which is the offer that you're making to fulfill those promises. And the agreement, which is how they're going to buy. That's it. And eventually, we'll get into other things in advertising, like advertising on Google and YouTube and Instagram. But for now, don't worry about that. Focus on Facebook. It's less expensive in general than Google. Messenger is incredibly cheap right now, and you can generate a lot of traffic and make a lot of money. We'll talk more about the specifics about how to do it in future videos. Hang in there. This isn't difficult. We're going to make it crystal clear for you. That's it for now. Ron here, signing off, and see you in the next video.